Hello the internet, I'm back and it's a little bit windy, so I hope the audio is right. But here is 5 things that I hate. Not really, that I kind of dislike. They're just little nitpicks about the HD FPV system by DJI. Alright, number 1. It is DJI. Regardless of how great the product is, it is made by a company that has destroyed everyone in the flying camera market. They did it by having a really good product, but they kind of are about to do exactly the same for the FPV space. Because I know there's upcoming products by established small companies like Fat Shark, but to be honest, I don't quite believe what they're gonna reveal is going to be even close to what this system is. But it is bad, because it is proprietary. Also, it is DJI, so you gotta activate the product first. And they have a history of not really supporting existing product very well once they come up with a new version. And that's not just DJI, Sony does exactly the same. But there's companies like Fuji that really are supporting, or even Apple with their iPhones, supporting their older hardware for a long time. And I fear with this guy, we're gonna see, if it's successful, we're gonna see a second generation that's smaller. There's all the things that I'm talking about here, but it's not really backward compatible with the goggles that I have. Maybe I'm wrong, but we'll see about that. Alright, things that I dislike. Well, this point is actually something that I could say that I actually hate. And that's that I can't fly analog anymore. I have so much gear. You wouldn't believe, and spare parts and everything. But every time I went to the field to test digital versus analog, I always ended up using all the packs on my digital goggles because everything looks just so damn awesome. I put on the analog goggles, and even though they're really nice OLED screens, it's just like standing in a dark corridor with a tiny little window at the end of the tunnel. And even if you had box goggles, large field of view, the image is just so low res and you don't really see all that much, even if the feed is without any breakup, which is usually not the case. So it's a little depressing to go back to analog after running with the HD goggles. That's what I can tell you.
Hold on, everybody. It's going to be hot and fast and exciting. It's going to feature Jakob Steiner for Rotor Armour against Armando Joseph Gallegos of Quad Force 1 in the first single heat. There you go, red and blue. There's the Rotor Armour 1 higher and faster into the lead.
Yeah, racing, the final frontier. I'm being a little sarcastic because of the niche market of FPV racing. Not very many people actually indulge themselves in the sport, but the DJI goggles seem to have been designed with racing in mind. There's the fixed frequencies that are typical and are not as resilient for interference, but are really great for tracking the individual quads with the lap systems that we use. However, I haven't seen DJI really pushing for the system during races this year. I mean, they did test some prototypes last year at some of the Chinese events, but this year no push from DJI, which is surprising, and probably without their push not much is going to happen. I think racing will be the last frontier of the analog system, because there's no like a ground station that people could be, or organizers would be using for referees, spotters to check whether pilots have done the laps correctly, review flights, or even do live broadcast. Some of the systems that we're using today are able to broadcast over the web, so it's nice and easy to follow. I mean, I understand that the very same ground station is going to be useful for like sports events to do live broadcasts, and DJI probably has things up the sleeves, but it's not gonna be cheap. So I think we're gonna see systems available from DJI. I'm not sure if it's gonna be for like local racing events that we know, but maybe for large events like the Drone Champions League, it's going to be pretty good. We'll see.
The best race of the day so far. Steiner regained the lead. They come right under the final turn. Who's going to make it to the gates? Gallegos misses the finish, and Steiner gets the point. Jakob Steiner makes it home. Gallegos missed the ends.
Another little nitpick is the lack of audio support. And what I mean by that is if you look under the or above the power connector, there's a headphone jack, and you would think, hey, there's a headphone jack. I can plug in my headphones and I will hear the motor, which will give me good feedback on how much throttle I'm using. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Just like the Connect system, the air transmission is only video. There's no audio. All the specs that are talking about the AAC codec relate to the onboard recorder. So that's where the audio is captured, but not over the air. So you can't use it that way. What the connector labeled headphones is for the AV in. So these goggles can show analog video. They can't capture it on the DVR. There's supposedly a significant delay, so it's good for the fallback situation, or if you have tiny whoops or something like that. Tiny whoops are those tiny little 20-gram micro quadcopters that you can fly around your house and bump into people and not cause any harm. But as a serious analog goggle contender, this one isn't. Why would it? It is so much better. Every time I carry these things around to do a comparison or something, but I always end up using all the packs on the HD system, because what you're seeing is just so much better. It's crazy. Anyway, back to dumping bad things on this goggle. So in terms of negative things that I said about the system, most of them boil down to the DJI monopoly that's coming our way in the HD FPV space, because I don't think there's anyone else that's remotely capable of doing anything like them. But in terms of the product itself, for being Gen 1, it's really amazing, and I think it's gonna bring a smile to a lot of older folk like me that just want to fly around and take in the countryside. And on that note, take care, and if I see, because I saw a lot of new people subscribing, so if there's some of you coming from the DJI flying camera space and would like to learn about how to get into FPV, how to build the quad, what to start with first, because there is a lot of information, but there's also a lot of noise, and like a lot of it is not super relevant to somebody who wants to, do cinematic shots with an FPV drone. So if you're into that, please let me know in the comment. Let me know that you're interested, because doing these is quite a lot of work, and if I would be doing like a build video, that's even more work. So I need to know that there's really interest for this. So if you're interested, please comment down below, and if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And there's this little stupid button next to the subscribe button with the bell, and you have to click it, because otherwise, even though you're following people, YouTube just decides, nah, he wants to subscribe to somebody but probably doesn't want to see the content from him. If you click it, it's actually gonna inform you that I have uploaded a new video. So do that as well, and take care. Okay, one last nitpick, because this is a designer product by DJI. You would think that last time I was talking about the awesome channel switching, you would think that if you press the up arrow, it would change the channel up, but it actually goes down. And if you push the down arrow, it goes up. So it's still a design-driven company, but Chinese.